Hi, I'm Mike Mathews. I'm the operations manager for the Janesville Innovation Center. And today we're talking with Chad Kaderabek from K4 Innovations. And K4 started back in 2012 with Jenny and Chad getting that business started out of their home. And let's go back in time to 2012 and the months that led up to that. What led to you starting the business?
An opportunity came. A former associate that I used to work with, who used to run the Chinese plant or office that we used to, for the same company we used to work for. He left the company and he wanted to start his own venture, and he contacted me a few months later and asked me if I had any interest in joining in with him. And I always wanted to run a company. I always expected to be someone else's company and not mine, but the opportunity was there, and so Jenny and I decided to go for it.
And what was the original idea of the business? What were your thoughts about what the nature of the business was going to be, what products you were going to carry?
Yeah, that was a big progress, and we changed a lot on the way. We first started with basically sourcing products out of China, because of course with my relationship with my former associate who lives in Shanghai, we started trying to import some different types of products, and we tried different things in different industries, and what really just ended up resonating with our customers and what we did and what we can do was the pipe fittings, such as threaded pipe and flanges.
And what kind of industries were you selling into with these original products?
These started with, in industries, we first started with the exhaust fabrication market. So anything that, so exhaust gases for engines, gen sets, that type of thing. And then talking with some of our customers that were in that business, they said, have you ever checked with irrigation? Irrigation uses a lot of these types of fittings. So we approached a bunch of irrigation companies, and we also started selling them some of these fittings too, and adding other products that they were interested in different materials like stainless steel and aluminum.
And at that time, you guys were really a manufacturer and distributor, a wholesale distributor to others who were providing and selling these parts to your end customers, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So what about the products and services that you offer today? How have things kind of shifted?
Again, we've been keeping an open ear out, listening to our customers on stuff that they use, and that can meet our capabilities, so anything that's pipe fitting related. So one of the biggest things that we've added over the last 3 years is exhaust rain caps. Now these are simple, some people call them exhaust flappers, but they basically go on top of an exhaust pipe, and when exhaust air exits, it's counterbalanced, so it lets the exhaust air out. There's a lot of suppliers for small sizes, like 1 inch through, say, 5 inch, but very few for large sizes. And we also, so we do them all the way from 1 inch up to 30 inches, and we also sell them in different materials. This is carbon steel. This is stainless steel, 304 stainless steel, it's great for high temperature applications. And then we also do aluminum, which is perfect for blowdown applications where they don't need any, where they can't have any sparking, because aluminum's a non-sparking material. So we sell a lot in those industry, but also we have a lot of genset packagers, and companies that fix those gensets also use that as replacements. So that was one of our biggest things, and we really market ourselves from being able to provide any type of rain cap from 1 inch through 30 inch. Actually, we've sold some up to 46 inch, and all those different materials.
And how do your customers find you, or how do you find your customers?
Well, when we first started out in 2012, because we were mostly wholesale, selling hundreds of flanges and hundreds and thousands of fittings, such as the threaded pipe, that was all done on phone and cold call. But in 2014, a bad thing happened, but it ended up being a silver lining, a cloud with a silver lining for us. It started to rain, so a lot of our irrigation business went away, meaning they didn't go to any other customer, they didn't go to any other our competitors. The business wasn't there anymore. A lot of these were used on center irrigation pivot systems in the growing of corn, and the price of corn in 2012 when we started was very good. It was like $2.50 a bushel. But then when it started raining in 2014, those irrigation systems weren't needed as much. Plus, all the other farmers decided to start growing corn, so the price, actually I said the bushel of corn was $2.50. Now it's $2.50. It was $8.20 some cents back in 2000.
Different set of economics entirely,
2012.
Right?
So a lot of that business ended up going away. But what we ended up doing is we looked for other channels. So we started looking at, instead of selling in wholesale, we started selling in smaller quantities. And so we had, as you see, we had stock. So we started selling them online through GoDaddy on a commercial site, e-commerce site. And as we started becoming more and more successful selling that online, we started adding more product. And funny thing is, we started selling more product. And then about 2 years ago, we finally had an aha moment and said, well, we have really good suppliers that offer a lot more products. Why don't we add those other products to the website, and we could be an A to B pipe fitting supplier for irrigation and fabrication for larger systems. So we've been doing that for the last couple of years, and we've grown a lot with that. We've learned a lot, and in June of this year we launched our new website, where we went from over 2,000 SKUs to now we have over 6,000 SKUs, with plans on probably doubling that in the next few months too.
So you've outlined a lot of changes that have occurred since you started the business. What's probably the biggest change that you feel like you've addressed most to your satisfaction? I mean, some of these are things that have kind of happened, outside influences. You've kind of shifted your business model, but of all those changes, which ones are you're happiest with in terms of your response to the industry changes?
Probably the pivoting over to more of an e-commerce, business-to-business, small-scale platform. Hindsight's 2020. It would have been a lot easier to start and run the business that way, because the requirements for capital is a lot less. Plus, you also learn a lot more about customers in the smaller transactions. Mm-hmm. And also working with those smaller types of transactions with smaller companies. It's obviously they partner with you a lot better. You learn a lot more about their business, and they're willing to work with you more and growing them with you. And they tend to pay their bills a lot better than large companies, mm-hmm. which is a nice thing.
Mm-hmm. So your business is a lot more diversified than it once was, yes. And lots of reasons people call you and contact you to be.
Yeah, it just shows you sometimes when you see there's a negative that happens to your business or your industry. There's opportunity out there on how to change your business and adapt it for the better. Mm-hmm. So make it a real win.
So when you're in a business for yourself, you've got your business and your personal are intertwined really together. And how would you say personal or business goals have shifted for you since you started the business?
Well, in starting out, the personal goals and the business goals were one and the same. So that really was trying to make a living. Mm-hmm. We started this company from nothing. We didn't buy a company. We didn't do anything like that. So we started up from zero. So of course, when you start a company from zero, you start from sales from zero. That's been a big adjustment for personal wise as well as business wise. But in moving forward, as you become more successful, you're able to diversify and start having personal goals separate from business goals. So it's nice to be finally in that point where we can start doing that, having personal goals that are separate from what we want to do with this business.
Mm-hmm. So you've kind of traveled, changes along the way. Are there certain business assistance or mentoring or advice that you've gotten along the way that's been helpful for you?
Yeah, the Janesville Innovation Center has been really instrumental for us in our growth. It's a huge transition going from a home-based company, which we were in 2012, into moving into your own facility. So with the Janesville Innovation Center, it made it so much easier because they were flexible in the size of space you needed. And also, you never realize how many things are involved in having your own office. You never think about, oh, you need a cleaning service. You need phone service, you need internet, you need landscaping, you need all those different types of things that are basically taken care of for you as you go in. And then moving forward, as we grew the company and changed the way we've done things, the Innovation Center was able to adapt to some of our needs. For example, we were estimating to add a lot more staff, but when we ended up going more to a business e-commerce model, we didn't really need to add overhead. So we were able to move into a smaller space. And then also, we used to have all our products in another warehousing facility. And the Innovation Center had 2,500 square foot facility that was really designated for a manufacturing bay. But they were able to work with us on a smaller space that better suited our needs, and also some other tenants too. So that was a real win for us. And just the coaching that you provide, Mike, that's a huge opportunity for us too, because a lot of times you just have some real some questions that you need somebody who's possibly been there or who can at least guide you into another to another resource to help you with that. That's been instrumental.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you started the business, you came from a business background, you had experience, you had certain kind of characteristics in how you approach things. Did you feel when you started that you had some of the things that you really needed to be successful in business, and did those assumptions kind of how do I want to say it? Did those assumptions about those traits that you had, those experiences that you had, translate pretty well in starting the business and growing it?
In somewhat, yes. In starting your own business, ignorance is bliss. So, obviously I thought I had the skills of running a business, but as you go through it, you realize that there's some things you do not know. So my background, it was very strong on the marketing and sales side. So that helped us from an entrepreneurial standpoint in starting a business. That helped us because that helped us figure out what our business wanted to be and how we wanted to be structured. But then a lot of things that you don't see when you start a business, such as accounting, banking, logistics, all that type of stuff. That's stuff that I wasn't as prepared with, but you just learn and you ask other people. And in fact, a good source was yourself as well as our customers. It's amazing, if you come, with your hat in hand and you ask a customer a question. They've always been able to help me out and things, especially on the logistics side. If a company's been around for a while, mm-hmm. they tend to help you learn of some good companies and some people to partner with that you can work with. So
even though you're a new supplier to them, they're happy to share with you how they've done things and
yes, a lot of them would say, "Hey,
right?
I was in your shoes 20, 30 years ago." So they're always, a lot of them are willing to help you out.
What would you say? I mean, you've listed some of them, but what would you say the biggest challenge has been as an entrepreneur?
Biggest challenge has been time management. Mm-hmm. There's many distractions that will be pulling at your time when you're running a business. Unfortunately, most of it is non-value added. That it took a good 3-4 years for me to start understanding that and start developing mechanisms and systems to start guiding some of the background noise, as I like to call it, to different directions or getting rid of it altogether. So that's been probably the time management has been the biggest thing for me.
And if you were to start over knowing what you know, is there anything that you would do differently in terms of starting and or running the business?
Yeah, I would start
with the benefit of hindsight, right?
Yeah, with the benefit of 20/20 hindsight. Definitely starting with a true off-the-shelf accounting system. We started I thought I could design my own system that worked better for us, and it did, but it didn't do all the right functions that you needed for simple things like taxes and accounting and simple balance sheets and stuff like that. So we tried to do that around for a couple of years without it, and then it took us a good year once we got a system, a true accounting system to really get caught up. So that would have saved us a lot of time and a lot of headache, but again,
you live and you learn,
yeah.
right?
Accounting's easy. I'm a marketing guy at hand. I thought that was all easy, so I learned a lot.
What is it that you like most about being an entrepreneur?
What I like most is you control your own destiny. That's one thing that I struggled with throughout my career. Is I always did what's best for the company and what's best for the customer. I never did what's best for me, and that's at a juxtaposition of what really working for a company and working for your own company. So, and I knew that throughout my career that I didn't spend enough time promoting myself, but I also had problems doing that. I didn't think that was the right thing to do. Being an entrepreneur, I don't need to do that. It's my business. What I do, I automatically see the negative or the positive proceeds of what I do. So I really like controlling my own destiny as an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. And are there certain traits or talents, if somebody is thinking about starting a business and making that commitment, are there certain traits or characteristics that you would say certainly are critical to somebody who wants to get into business and be successful?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a trait or a talent, but it really, what you're going to do or what your business is, you really have to have a passion for it. If you don't have a passion for it, it's hard to get up every day if it's not something you really enjoy doing. Mm-hmm. So I think that'd be my biggest advice is make sure that your business is something that you are passionate about and that you'll be passionate about for a long time.
Well, I know you've been passionate about your business from the beginning. You're still passionate, and I think that you enjoy the challenges that you face each day and just the focus on getting better at what you do. And it's been a pleasure to be working with you over the years to see the business transition and grow. And just want to thank you for the time today.
Yeah, and thank you for your help.